Will the connected car become as ubiquitous as the smartphone, enabling payments, gaming, entertainment, and work? Can it become a mobile office and give rise to work from anywhere? That's a hashtag culture. And of course, they have your hashtag after that. But this is a question coming from Roger Lobo. It's a good one. Do you think that's going to happen sooner than later?
There was one wonderful statement a few years before, then the car in the future will be the fifth screen. And that's absolutely right. If you remember, each screen has changed the world. The TV has changed the world. The smartphone has changed the world. Each screen has changed the world. And with this one, we're also changing the world. New things are coming up. And it's much more. I'll give you one example. You just mentioned the part of entertainment. I'm married and I have 4 kids. And with a good entertainment in a car, not that I'm doing the entertainer, in the back, with a Wi-Fi in a car in the future, which are coming up, you have silence. You can drive for hours.
4 kids in silence in the same sentence, that in itself is such an amazing thing.
That's reality. The point is that's reality. And then we are coming, you're asking the question, high bandwidth, no latency, if they're doing gaming in the future. All these things will happen in the future in the back. 4 kids in the back, it's not allowed, should be only 3. But in principle, that means all these things are coming up. This is the reason also for business parts. You mentioned the part of autonomous driver in India. People are working in the back. I'm also my driver, I'm Mumbai, and I'm working most of the time in the back in unique connectivity. And people are also thinking about the wonderful new things, but never forget the 4 wheels of a car. And connectivity is something like the 4 wheels of a car. You can create the best car in the world. If the car in the future will not be connected, you have a problem. That's the reason why connectivity is so important also.
Right. There's a very ironical joke I'd heard that in the future, when all cars are autonomous, the game that will be played most when you're not driving is a car driving game. So that's something that we can really look forward to. Nothing else to do. Go back to that time when you used to drive a car. That may well become the most sad that sounds. I love it.
Can I try to answer that question that the audience asked? I think that was from the audience. The answer is simply yes. Because if we see leading markets like China, that's already happening, where you can actually park your car, you can pay for it, you can actually fuel your car, you can pay for it. And I think with India, with MG, that will be possible. There may be some additional infrastructure, connectivity, and also what we call the franchise of these parking locations, aggregating it together. But if there is a lead indicator, what we partner with the MG of China, this is definitely the trend.
If I can a little bit stretch to make a statement, we are 5G enabled right now in this car, right? So now we start with next gen smart system, let's say software version 1, like you say iOS 1. And then within few months we'll have version 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is how we'll proceed.
As you go forward and more of these services keep getting integrated, payment especially, how important is it to then also have, of course you have to have a strong data network, but when you talk about the embedded SIM, what part of that service then becomes, let's say, customizable for the consumer? You want to use more data in your car, hopefully we'll have Wi-Fi hotspots.
So good question, very good question. See again here, please don't get sick of my statement that it will evolve and we'll learn together, but actually that's the point. So we are starting with very good data free to the consumer to start with, right? And for the next few years I don't see us charging. But depending on the consumer...
That goes to your second model as well?
Yes. So we want... I don't want to overcome it right now, but we have the intention along with our partners that every MG car should have the system. Right? We were just talking before this meeting also, so that's our intention. Hopefully we do it. So coming back to that point, so we are going to give it the data free. The data is pretty good, and now depending on more URLs and more APNs we can add to our system thanks to regulation, then consumer will start consuming a lot of data. Now again, to Durgan's point, it's important thing is data is consumed hopefully by the backseater, not the driver. And by the way here, just to make sure again the safety is paramount, that you cannot play video songs when the driver is driving, right? So I mean it will be off. So So depending on the consumption of data, right? Also one thing more will happen, especially in Indian context, we consumers are very smart consumers in India. So how do you, can you exchange data between your smartphone and car? And I don't know the answer right now. Because you have taken a package on a smartphone, and for the car I don't know to pay more data. So how that confluence happens, I don't know the answer. But still, we are going to make sure that we give a lot of services free initially to start with. But some consumers who want to buy more data for certain things, there should be a payment system and they can buy more data.
Add on.
So that's all.
You know, I'm very confused. I thought I was coming for a car launch, and everything that has been spoken about here sounds more like a smartphone on wheels. Over the air, Ghana on it, data is free. It sounds like a smartphone on four wheels in every which way, but it sounds very, very exciting.
You know when you're with friends, when you only use their first names.
Welcome, Benedict.
Hello, MG.
MG Hector. It's a human thing.
So now we're going to go into that last part of a quick fire round. The gentlemen are restricted to maximum one sentence as an answer. And we're going to start off with you, Charles. All this tech that is coming together, they say that the effect of this, the ripple effect of this, are things that we may not be able to understand today. For instance, they say autonomous driving will make sure that car ownership is no longer there. You may just want to be part of a club rather than own a car. With the kind of technology that is being described today on a car coming in from MG, what's the future that we're not predicting right now? What will dramatically change?
Well, that's a very good question, Rajiv, and it's hard to answer, but I get asked that quite often. We will share with you what we think the future may be, but this realization of that future would require us as a collective to make that happen. Whether autonomous driving is autonomous, as my friend here says, by humans or by machines is less relevant than what do you do with the car. So one of the ideas that we have today, we just launched it actually on our Nuance website, is as the car is driving down a station, for example, on the road, you know that you've clicked on Facebook, you like this Louis Vuitton bag. You know you want this Louis Vuitton bag for your wife. You know her birthday is coming up and you know Louis Vuitton is on sale. Automatically all that data aggregates together with a text-to-speech. The virtual assistant says, Rajiv, your wife's anniversary is coming up. Louis Vuitton's bag is on sale. Would you like to detour this car to go and get her the bag right now? That's where we see the world moving.
That's a bad example.
That's a very dangerous example. We know why she's boss number one very, very clearly now.
Yeah.
Krish, what do you see? A disruption that is not obvious to everybody right now, but in the near future.
Sure. So when we think about vehicles, we primarily think about cars, bikes, scooters. Drones are in some ways part of that equation as well, right? Essentially something can transport people or goods. So when you think about them today, they are primarily a product that's sold, and that's about it, right? You probably get to interact with the product when that vehicle goes back to a dealership. But now this becomes a sensor. So you could really think about a sensor, with be it autonomous or not, is traversing just every nook and corner of India. It could get information about the weather, about pollution, potholes in the road. It could talk about infrastructure. Is the roads, is that bridge as it's going, is it rickety? Is there too much of noise? You talk about drones. What's the actual path that needs to make sense? You almost want to think about vehicles as having a third utility apart from transporting people and goods, as a sensor that goes anywhere and can collect the type of information with that connectivity. Connectivity is very critical here, right? In a way that can enable a whole bunch of things that haven't been conceived of as yet. So if you think about it, a lot of data has not been collected yet where a vehicle goes today.
Okay.
But once you figure this technology out, the problem is it's not easy to do. Because all of us are talking about what are the customer-facing services? What are the services that NG would potentially be able to get? But think about what the society by itself can get by changing the sensor.
Yeah. So this is crowdsourcing, in the ultimate way that the car will be automatically be able to do it, and there could be data coming in that could change lives.
Yeah.
Not necessarily only of the person who's driving the car.
Yeah, in Charles's case,
Yes.
the sensor is LVMH, right? It's a handbag.
Right.
But for the government, it could be what's the pollution in the area, what
Right.
can be done to fix it,
Right.
right?
Okay.
The interesting thing that Rajiv mentioned that I want to mention is it's not a one-way sensor.
Our target at TomTom, we want to keep the world moving, right? Making it a safer trip on the road, but also reducing congestion. And at the same time, today, I think 90% of the time a car is parked, right? Imagine that, how you can change that around, right? 90%, that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I think the usability of that car to get it on the road, reduce congestion, and keep the world moving.
Yeah.
That's our aim.
Game changing. I know that you already have thought of the answer, but I'm going to disappoint you and change your quick fire. You're one of the rare people on this panel that's actually spent a lot of time in India, besides you, of course. So your question is India relevant. Have you taken a ride in the most connected vehicle in the world, and that is an auto rickshaw? You know, I mean, you're out there, you're connected to all the people, the potholes really speak to you in every which way. You're more connected than ever before. Have you taken a ride in an auto rickshaw?
Our one part we are serving is connected vehicles. And connected vehicles is including the 2, 3, and 4 wheelers.
Okay.
And one part exactly is a rickshaw. And the rickshaw, you know, with the AS 140 program, which the government is pushing, we have the panic button in car in. It will be connected. Public transport will be connected.
Okay.
And this is also, I want to add one more point on this. In the future, I personally believe we are living in a shared world. That means we are sharing things. We are using things very personalized for 1 hour or for 1 day. And as you mentioned, your wife is using the car. Everybody in the family is using this wonderful car. And when you're stepping in, it's full personalized and it's a shared service. And this, I believe, is changing the world in principle. Whatever you're getting, you will use it for 1 hour. My kids never will buy a car. They will. I'm a German. As a German, you will buy a car for sure at my age. But my kids never will do it. But somebody has a car and you will use it. And when you step in, you have the feeling you are at home
It's yours.
in this moment. And this is a way which is coming up. And this will be sooner or later also coming. Let's see, in 5 or 10 years in rickshaws, when I'm stepping into an Indian rickshaw, I'm feeling home. Let's see what will happen.
Rajiv, normally, the 2 anchors of it, this is rare, 2 anchors, get the last word. But I think we've been very, very sweet today. We're going to give him the last word. How does the MG Hector change the lives of Indians with everything that you're actually bringing in? This is your last word.
I think, frankly, it will be too much for me to say that the car is going to change the lives of consumers. That's a big statement or a big stretch for me to say. So I would say that if in our small way we can herald this new era of consumers expecting a lot more from the cars in terms of technology solutions, I think that's what probably we would be very happy with to start with. That we think that we need to democratize the technology. We need to bring technology at an affordable price. It's very important, one point which I'm sure some guys will talk about, is that how do we bring this Indian narrative or the Indianized version of this technology in Indian context. As an example, we talk about connectivity, we're excited about 5G. Let's not forget we have 2G and 3G also, right? So when we take this car to locations with 2G and 3G, how does this whole thing work? Right? Accent, we talk about it, and we know the Indian challenge is much more. It's not one Indian accent. Right. We have thousands of Indian accents, right? In MG, we are trying to bring all this technology in the Indianized way, in the most affordable rates possible.
Okay. And on that last word.
All right, so firstly, thank you for all of you for sharing those thoughts, giving us the details that I think a lot of people really did want to hear. And Rajiv, thank you as well.
Thank you very much. I'm ready for the car of the future, so this is looking it.
It is very exciting times, and I can tell you what, keep your kids entertained and silent in the back seat. Find the most efficient, fuel-saving route to your destination. Keep your spouse happy with the right gift choice. All of that is happening soon. Your lives are about to change. Thank you for watching.
use their first names.
Welcome, Benedict.
Hello, MG. MG Hector. It's a human thing.
And with that, we come to an end of the today's presentation, or the Internet of Cars, or the MG Driving Part 2. So pretty much we have learned around 60% of what was told today by Rajiv Chhabha, Charles something, Krish, I think someone, and even from Siddharth Vinayak Pathankar and Rajiv Makhnikam. So next video we'll talk more. Till that time, shukran, alida, ma salama, take care, do whatever you want, my lovely friends. And again, keep subscribing to my channel, keep like my videos, keep commenting and share, guys, please. So कुछ नहीं हुआ हम पे, कुछ नहीं.